Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Berkat Tutorials. Students, today we are going to study about the topic probability distribution. It is a very important topic in class 12 syllabus, as well as we also study this topic in our BCom and MCom. Students, this is a part of statistical analysis. So, before understanding what do we mean by probability distribution, we should understand that what is a statistical experiment. Students, in statistics, there is a process by which we get chance observations. We obtain that, and this process is termed as statistical experiment. During this experiment, we get all the possible outcomes which can arise, and we comprise that in a form of a list or a table. By the outcomes of a random experiment means the experiment should be on a random basis, it should not be prepared. Okay, so we get a random variable, it is determined, whereas whose set of assumed values which are countable in nature means you can count those values that are termed to be as discrete random variable. Now, frequency distribution can be classified under two. One is actual frequency distribution and one is the probability frequency distribution. Students, first of all, we should know that what do we mean by frequency distribution. So, first of all, think and tell me that what do we mean by a frequency, how frequent something is, right? So frequency is the count of occurrence, that how many times the thing is occurring, of values within a particular group of interval. For example, if I ask you that in a whole day, how much frequently you drink water, so the number you will write or tell me is the frequency of how frequently you drink water in a day. So I think you have understood that what do we mean by a frequency. Now, when a list or a table or in the form of graph, we make those frequency or we show those frequency that displays the frequency of various outcomes in a sample is termed as frequency distribution. Means we are distributing those frequency, we are showing those frequency of the outcomes in form of a list or a table or graph. Now, let us understand that what do we mean by actual frequency distribution and what do we mean by probability frequency distribution. Actual frequency distribution. By the word actual, you can make a guess that it would be something based on real facts, right? So it is known as observed frequency distribution. Means after you have observed something, you have made the list or a table. So it is constructed on the basis of data which is available observed in statistical experiments. For example, we will take a basic example that you are in a class and you have given a test. So every student have obtained some marks. Now, distribution constructed on the basis of actual data of marks obtained by students of a class. So that would be actual frequency distributions. Similarly, you can also take the example of wages earned by workers of a factory. You can more classify this as wages earned by male members of the factory and wages earned by female members of the factory. Now, next example is number of member in family of a city. Means how much is the population. Okay, in this manner, you can make the frequency distribution table which are based on actual facts. Okay, now second is theoretical frequency distribution. Now from the word theoretical only we can make a guess that this frequency distribution is not based on a actual figures, right? It is something which is probable, which is expected. So it is called as expected or probability frequency distribution. Now, it is a distribution of frequency which is not based on actual observation. This is very important, students. But it is constructed through expected frequency. Means we are making a guess that this can be expected. Okay. Now, this is done by mathematical computations based on certain hypotheses about which we are going to study in the next slide, that what is the mathematical computation we are using by which we are getting this probability frequency. Okay. Now let us take an example. Two coins are tossed 4 times, means you have tossed both of the coins 4 times, and upcoming of head is taken as a success. Then how many times the whenever it will come head, it is success for us. Then expected frequency are computed by that mathematical method, okay, on the basis of probability theory. Now let us look at those mathematical computations. In modern statistics, different types of frequency distributions are constructed. Among all of them, three distributions are more popular, okay? But students, today we will cover only binomial distribution because binomial distribution is most important. Now, from the word bi, what you understand? It means two, okay? Anything which is bipolar or bi, that means two, or you can say two groups. First of all, you should know that binomial distribution is associated with the name of Swiss mathematician James Bernoulli. Now, because this was given by James Bernoulli, the binomial distribution is also stated as Bernoulli theorem. Okay. Now, the literal meaning of the word binomial is two groups. Hence, in this distribution, frequencies are divided on the basis of two possible outcomes. Means, in all the questions based on the binomial distribution, you will have only two possible outcomes. One would be either success and one would be either failure. Now, this is a definition of the binomial distribution. It is a discrete frequency distribution which is based on dichotomous. Dichotomous means two groups, two, something which is in number two. Alternatives, that is, one alternative would be on the basis of probability of data of success and failure. Moving forward, what is the formula by which we can get this? This distribution in the form of probability density can be expressed as follow. Just look at this formula, students. What is it? Px is equals to NCx p raised to the power x 1 minus p raised to the power n minus x. Now students, here what do we mean by p? So let us go in a sequence manner. Let us see first what is this n. N is the number of trials, means how many number of trials we are making. Like we have talked about 4 times we are tossing the coin. So the number of trial would be 4. Okay. Now, what is this C? It is combination. I think you have studied about permutations and combinations. So this C is combination. And what is X? X is the number of success in n trials. Means if we have taken the example of tossing a coin 4 times, the number of trial would be 4. And how many times you are getting the success, that is X. Okay, you can also write R. Now, what is P? P is the probability of success. For example, in this scenario, if you are tossing a coin, okay, So probability of getting head would be how much? Half, right? Only there are only two sides of a coin. So how much would be the probability of getting success? 1. Okay. So 1 by 2. So you will write half. And it raised to the power x, that is the number of success. And 1 minus p is q. Okay. Which is stating probability of failure. So if half is the probability of success, so naturally what would be the probability of failure? Half. Okay. You can also compute it by 1 minus p. So what would be here? 1 minus half. You will get half. Moving forward, we can elaborate the formula as ncx. You can write factorial n upon factorial r in the bracket n minus r, or you can write in the place of r x. Okay, into this I have explained in the previous slide. Okay, now the binomial distribution formula helps to check the probability of getting x success in n independent trials of binomial experiment, that how many times we can get the success in how many independent trials. The binomial distribution is a type of probability distribution in statistics that has how many outcomes? Two possible outcomes. In probability theory, the binomial distribution comes with two parameters. One is the n and one is the p. Now, there are some important points which we should know. The probability distribution becomes a binomial probability distribution when it meets these following requirements. First is that each trial can only have how many outcomes? Two outcomes. Second is the trial must be of a fixed number. Like I have said, 4 times you are tossing. So it is in a fixed number. The number is 4. Okay. Next is outcome of each trial must be independent of each other, means they should not have an impact on one another. They should be independent in nature. And the last is success of probability must remain the same of for each trial. Means if p is equals to half, means if getting success, for example, getting head in a coin toss is half, so it will remain half every time. Okay, I think it is clear. It would be more clear with these practical questions of binomial distribution. 10 coins are tossed 100 times. Find out the expected frequency for the following 3 results. First is 7 heads and 3 tails. Means in the first question you have to find out the binomial distribution where you will get 7 heads. Okay. So what would be the probability of getting success, or I can say probability of getting a head? It would be half. And probability of getting failure, what is failure? Means if you will get a tail, then means that means that you will be failed, so it would be again half. How many number of trials we have seen that you are this is 100 sorry 10 coins are tossed, so the number is 10. Okay, and next is that number of success is n trial, means how many times you can get a success? 7 times, because here it is given 7 heads. So let us solve the question. Our formula was ncr p raised to the power r, then q raised to the power n minus r. So 10c7 half raised to the power 7 and half raised to the power n minus, what was it? R. So what was our n? 10. And what was our r? 7. 10 minus 7 we get 3. So we will solve further it. Okay. And we will get the answer 11.72. Now because it is 0.7 means more than 5, so you can approximately write it as 12. I think you know how to solve 10c7, students. It is, if you don't know, I will tell you, just listen carefully. It is 10c7 means factorial 10 you will write. means 10 into 9 into 7, 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into, it will go up to 1. Okay. And similarly, below you will write factorial r, that is 7, and factorial this minus 7. Okay, means 10 minus 7, right? Clear? So when you will write factorial 7, so that would cut with this 7 above. Okay, because 10 into 9 into 8 into, you can directly write factorial 7, and it would cut from the below one. And then you have to write factorial 10 minus 7, so you will get 3. So simplifying that, you have got 3 into 2 into 1. I hope it is clear, students. Moving forward to the next option was at least 7 head. Now at least 7 head means you would get a success if you get 7, 8, 9 and 10. ठीक है, कम से कम 7 आना चाहिए. 7 से ज्यादा भी आ गया तो भी आपको सक्सेस ही मिलेगा. इसलिए हमें इतने बार, कितने बार सॉल्व करना होगा? 4 बार. पहले जब 7 हेड आए या 8 बार हेड आए, 9 बार हेड आए या 10 बार हेड आए, so the pattern would be same. So I will just show you the explanation here. 10c7 we have written half raised to the power 7, half raised to the power 3. So this, what was the answer in our previous slide? It was 12, right? So here also we will get 12. But what is different from the previous option? Here we have to solve for 8 heads, then 9 heads, and then 10 heads. So what would be the difference? Here you will write 8, then half raised to the power 8, and here what will come? N minus r. So 10 minus 8 is 2. Again in the ninth, when you are getting 9 heads, what you will write? 10c9, half raised to the power 9, and here n minus r means 10 minus 9, so you will get 1. In this way, you will ultimately get the answer 17. So the last question is, when you are wanting to get exactly 6 heads, so how you will solve? Here the r would be 6, because it is the number of success in n trials, when only you will get 6 head. Number of trials is 10, probability of failure would be half, and probability of success would be half. So I think you have understood that these are independent, these are not depending on each other. Okay, every time the probability of success is half only. Now, probability of getting exactly 6 heads. 10c6, half raised to the power 6 and half raised to the power 10 minus 6, that is 4. So, solving this, simplifying, we get 21. I hope this is clear, students. For your home assignment, I am giving you one question. Just try it. If you could not solve this question, then in the next PPT, I will explain you this. Thank you, students.